My biggest wish is to basically create my own brand, start this like basically fashion empire, like I know that's like that's wishing for a lot, but you shoot high.
Hello, my name is Maka Shadad, and I'm majoring in fashion design at Mount Mary University. I've been designing clothes on and off for as long as I can remember, but I started seriously when I decided to go with the fashion design track to my senior year of high school. Everywhere I looked, I found inspiration, and I have a sketchbook, and I think I had like most of my junior collection already designed before I even came to Mount Mary.
Since I was young, I wanted to do fashion. I was so artistic. Like, I do watercolors, sketchboard, black and white, stencils, like everything, even arts and crafts, and like dancing and singing and theater, like everything art. I was there. But then when I started thinking seriously senior year, I came up to fashion again. I just like did like a roundabout, came back to fashion, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, that was like my number one thing. If it wasn't that, it would be communications at Marquette. That sounds just boring saying it. But I told my mom, and my mom was like, that's good. When I was younger, she told me no. But as I grew older and she saw the relevance of fashion, she was like, yes, you do that. What she didn't realize was how rigorous it actually was. But my brother, when he first found out, he was like, who studies fashion? And it's so funny because he loves fashion. Like, he's all about, looking spiffy. Him and my sister-in-law love him to death. And my sister-in-law she's very supportive. She can't wait for me to make an identical red dress that I made for her. So we're gonna be matching. And my younger sister, definitely supportive. Like I told you last time, she's like my muse. My what was it? Freshman year, when we took clothing construction for the first time, I was so happy. Especially when I learned how to sew a pocket, because I came in like I was hand stitching clothes for Barbies and like hand stitching like purses and bags and stuff like that. And I remember when I first did a pocket, I was like, oh my gosh, like I still have the pattern piece for that same pocket, which isn't saying much because it was just a year ago. But then there was this time when we made our knit shirts, and I gave it to my younger sister, the knit shirt, because we're like around the same size. And she wore it to school. They're like, oh my gosh, where'd you get your shirt? She's like, my sister made it. I was like, yes. And it just felt like so nice, for her to be, especially since she's my muse, to go out and be like, oh yeah, my sister made this for me or whatever. That was very special to me.
Okay, so I would call this step one of the entire design process, besides sketching and coming up with the idea. But here I have my patterns for my peplum, and then I have the front skirt, and you can see like the box pleats here. So you pattern everything all match. And I also have my back bodice block as well as my front bodice block. And then after you've perfected this, you will turn it into a first rough draft into muslin. And for the muslin, it's not very flattering. Muslin is not meant to be worn on the streets, definitely. But this is like the basics of my skirt. The peplum you can see. And the pleats aren't like pressed in, so it looks really, really bad. But after you do the muslin fitting, you go into photo fabric. So this here is my lining. It goes underneath, not very interesting. But then I cut out the sleeve here. And I am doing a dartless sleeve, so there will be darts on this one. But basically you pin everything, make sure it's all straight, and you cut on with good sides together, right sides together, so that you can have like the opposite for the, like everything's like in half. So if you have to cut either on fold or two of everything, so it'll be a complete garment and not half a garment. So I pinned everything here. And then this will be like the peplum, and I'm gonna do a stay stitch there. But that's it for now, and then I'll start sewing and show you how it goes. Oh, and I'd like to show the difference between the pleats on the muslin versus the pleats in the actual final fabric. It's like much better here. I still have to like repress it, but yes, that's it for now. My design aesthetic changes depending on which like genre or audience I'm trying to gear to, especially because a lot of the time my inspiration is my younger sister, and she went through a lot of phases. She went through a really girly phase, went through a really like dark like grunge phase, so I want to basically have that versatility in my designs. That's how I would describe my aesthetic, because I can be making like a frilly pink gown one day, and then the next day be making like this leather jacket and like leather clad outfit.
Oh no, what happened?
My bobbin ran out, so none of this sewed.
Oh no.
What's important to me is that I use my brand to make productions. Like I want the productions of my clothes to be like made in Africa, you know, whichever country it may be, because it's like that's like my way of giving back, you know. And then like the more successful I get, I want to open up like a nonprofit school for young girls in Kenya, because I feel like I was one of the lucky ones, you know, that got to escape and get their education, but there are still young girls who aren't able to get an education. And I know they can be something so much better than a housewife. Also, I want the youth that are trying to be trendy, trying to be, you know, what the kids say these days, hip. Oh my gosh, I want them to be able to follow those trends, but not sacrifice faith for fashion. You know, still be modest, but you can still be hip.
Oh, you're cute.
The inspiration behind the red dress that I was working on was me stepping into my role as like a woman of the world. That's why I had like the gold scarf and like the details in the scarf to make it look like a crown kind of, and the dress was red, which is regal. Like red is like almost the color of royalty, because that's the color that we traditionally wear for like weddings in the Somali culture. So it fit right away. When I graduated high school, I promised myself that I'd become a woman of the world, and to me that meant not just being this traditional daughter that lives in the house, you know, goes to school, comes home, learns how to cook, you know, all that boring stuff. I wanted to become, like pave myself to become an independent woman, a woman who was strong and capable, you know, and competent. And the design around the dress that I had made, it was like kind of me crowning myself.